Hello, Cherries fans, and welcome to the second look. But we could probably take a third look and a fourth look and a fifth look, and the inconsistencies from viewing it multiple times might be laid bare, as could be the case with AFC Bournemouth's Evan Nilsson after he was sent off, but the club are appealing. Yeah. And the sending off was pivotal in a game where we sadly couldn't keep Manchester United out. We were 1-0 up, and then in the latter stages, we were down to 10 men. They huffed and puffed, and they finally equalised on 90 plus 6 minutes, meaning that we dropped points against the Red Devils in a game where we wanted to win, and in all honesty, we probably should have won. Unfortunately, there are a lot of talking points that we probably don't want to be discussing, but once again, Tom, officiating rears its ugly head again. But I've got to say, mate, performance-wise, for a large part of that, I thought we were pretty good, especially that first half against United, eh?
Yeah, I agree, mate. I think it's been the case a few times now where we're just not getting that second goal when we probably deserve to. Yeah. It was similar to the Fulham game, I felt, in terms of being the better side, getting the goal, and then kind of allowing them to have a bit more of the ball. But then obviously this one had more context because of the red card. So then we had to kind of just sit off them and try and keep a clean sheet, which I always felt like we were going to get. I never felt like they were going to score. Unfortunately they did. But yeah, like you said, 9 minutes as well. I can't get me about it. And yeah, honestly, I think you said it the other week after a game. I can't remember which game it was. Like, you felt quite like just flat, and I still do now. Feel so flat because I think, obviously, we can go just this season alone and talk about that Newcastle game, which everyone seems to have forgot, with the most ridiculous disallowed goal ever that we got an apology for, and then we got another apology when James Hill's goal was disallowed against Fulham. And then, and then I just think that, I remember like the Liverpool game at home, and it wasn't, I know they got a penalty in the game, but there wasn't anything like obvious. It was just everything. It just felt like, I remember afterwards, everyone just moaning about the officiating. And I remember saying, it's because it's Liverpool. And then it's happened again against Man U. And yeah, I just, if I was like going on a date with a girl, right, I was chatting to them, and then I went, and then they went, we'll arrange to meet up here. And then they cancelled. I'd go, all right, and we'll rearrange. Okay, cool. And then we rearranged and they cancelled again. I'd go, all right, okay. And then we rearranged and they cancelled again. I'd go, right, this is getting a bit weird. And then we rearranged and they cancelled again. At some point, I'm going to go, I've had enough.
But that always happens to you.
But yeah, at some point, I'm going to have enough. And I literally am just like, this is just getting ridiculous, because it's just, how? And I really feel for Andoni. I mean, how anyone can say that he hasn't slipped.
Oh my God.
And we were talking off air, like, they can't win now, because if we win the appeal, they look like idiots. And if we don't win the appeal, then they still look like idiots. Like, it's just honestly, it's literally laughable, some of the decisions, and we're constantly told about clear and obvious. Why they get involved? He's made the ref, actually, he was rubbish, but that decision, he got bang on. Yellow card, Evan Nilsson, bang on. But for some reason they got involved. I don't really understand why. And then, honestly, the amount of games, because this wasn't actually a bad one in terms of delay for VAR.
No, that's right, yeah.
The amount of games we feel like we've been waiting forever for a decision. Never seen 9 minutes.
No.
Oh, I wonder where they got 9 minutes from.
So infuriating. I know you say you feel flat, you feel down, you feel at the end of your tether, but let me perk you up, mate. I'll show the league table, which is showing us in a top 10 position. So that's all right, isn't it? However, we could and maybe should have been 8th if we could just hold on for 3 more minutes. But I'll tell you what, not many times do we face Man United as the favourites, but in recent years it feels like we now do.
No, definitely.
I'm sorry, but they are a shadow of their former selves. I don't know what it is about that club. No matter the manager, it doesn't matter. The culture there is just rotten to pieces. And I thought, by the way, that they were absolutely atrocious.
Yeah, and we fought that last season at home, and the only thing they'll probably say is they managed to get out of a point in both of them.
Yeah, of course they will.
But yeah, I remember last seaon, the 2-2 at home, we absolutely battered them. Obviously, we've been Old Trafford and won 3-0 back-to-back as well. So Andoni must be really like, I thought this is Man U. Like, he's come over and they've just been, I think they've probably been definitely one of his easiest opponents since he's been here in terms of the game. It's our own fault that we didn't get that second goal. But in terms of actual performance, I mean, the 4 games he's had against them, I mean, they've been awful. They really have. And I know they've got an eye on Thursday this time round for sure. But they didn't rest like I thought they'd rest or rotate as I thought they would. They've got players out there that, a lot of quality and been around the block, but They don't look any good, mate. They really don't. The goalkeeper's awful. I wish we'd got a few more balls into him.
Yeah,
because
I agree.
There was one corner.
Set pieces, they've conceded a lot.
Yeah,
goals, the most in the Premier League, I think, with 12.
And there was one corner in the second half, because obviously I sit right behind the goal, and there's no one near him, and it's just going out of play for a goal kick, and he just punches it like for no reason. So yeah, I don't see how they get. I mean, they seem to have been able to do it in Europe, but I don't see how they get to the final.
It's mad. Like, Andoni, we sort of, when we did the live show, that mad live show that we did, where we instantly reacted to Gary O'Neill's departure, and then all of a sudden we hear about this, new guy. We were looking through his Wikipedia page, and one of his things is beating big sides. He got some statement results for, like, Vallecano. Man United aren't even that, though, anymore, are they?
No, I think it's a bizarre feeling, because this is a compliment in many ways, because it's such a bizarre feeling that a draw against Man U, I'm almost embarrassed.
Well, Fletcher was saying I was in hospitality, thanks to Comav. And he was on the mic beforehand saying he thinks that Manchester United and Real Madrid, they're the two biggest clubs in world football. Then you've got, obviously, like Bayern's and Barca's close behind. But
Liverpool,
Manchester United are still, despite the fact
that
they've been atrocious for ages, they're always going to be regarded as this big side. And I think that's naturally, to a lot of Bournemouth fans, we feel euphoric after beating them. But really, it's a thing that we've got used to recently.
Yeah, no, definitely, mate. I think it's one of them things in football, isn't it? I think that happens a lot. I remember, you could even go like on an international stage. I remember everyone being gutted. Do you remember when we lost to Croatia, England? And it's kind of like, it's because it's Croatia, but Croatia were bloody good in that tournament. But you don't get, whereas if we had, I know we wouldn't have because it was Euros, but if you had done that to Brazil, everyone goes, oh, it is Brazil. But Croatia were better than Brazil at that point, probably. It is a weird one. And you do always think it is still Man United, but yeah, they're I don't know what's happened to them, mate. Something needs to change there. I mean, just everywhere. I don't really know where they start. And I think that's their problem, is they go, what do we do? Where you start? I think it's anything to do with the coach, because how many do they have?
£2 billion stadium by the looks of it. It looks like a bit of a circus. So carrying on the theme. But look, it's been a good week, though, for AFC Bournemouth, hasn't it?
It has.
A brilliant week off the pitch. And Bill Foley has come over. We're hoping he's not just here solely to unveil the performance. Well, I mean, he's told us about the stadium buyback, but maybe asking someone or maybe a couple of people to put pen to paper, maybe.
I think he was just here to come meet me for a pint in the QP.
Did he come to the QP?
Of course he did, yes.
Oh, me being in hospitality. I won't talk about hospitality again, but so tell me about it then.
It was funny, actually, because Steve Henswood. Yeah. He gets in that spot, doesn't he, in the queue. And Bill was in his spot, and then when Bill left, Steve come in. I thought it's like they've had a little chat with each other. I'm going now. It was quite funny. But yeah, no, he popped up with some of his, security or whatever, and Jim Favola was there.
Yeah, so what does he do? He just
pops in, sees the fans, just
walks into the car park, drives into the car park, obviously, and then gets out his car and...
Yeah, then everyone started to, Bill, I know we were doing the... walking in a Foley Wonderland.
Really?
So yeah, he was loving it. Yeah,
nice day for it as well, wasn't it?
Really nice day for it. Everyone was outside and stuff, so it was cool. And he just had to wander around, went into our room and all that. And,
did you chat to him?
Very briefly. He had everyone on him, didn't he? And the people getting pictures and stuff, which
he watch back of the net?
Oh, of course he does. I mean, he did want my picture. I said, Bill, get on. Come on, we've got a game to win. But no, it was nice of him to do that. He's done that previously, hasn't he? So yeah, it's been like I say, it was frustrating because it's been a really good week for the football club, and it's weird because it's in a week where there's been a lot of anniversaries in terms of that Grimsby game,
like every day,
Bolton game, it's because of that stage of the season, isn't it? But because the Man U game was literally on 10 years from the Bolton game, wasn't it? So all some nice stuff, and then obviously you hear all that, and it's all positive, and literally it's all been affected by stoppage time of the weekend, because the day before stoppage time killed us because of Fulham. Cheers.
So if all the three games, and I've got to thank John on Telegram to thank for this line, but if all three games have finished after 90 minutes, happy days.
We're flying. I know, it's unbelievable. I mean, fair play to obviously both Fulham and Brighton. Yeah. But yeah, it's literally gone down to there's been goals in stoppage time in all three of them games. Thanks, teams.
Southampton.
And ours is, I mean, why anyway? Even when there was like 30 seconds left, I thought, you can't back these boys. They're terrible, aren't they? But I don't think they were too bothered. And Brighton managed to do it as well. So yeah, it was because that's such a swing in terms of points. But I think when we went through it, I felt this weekend was one that all three teams would win. Yeah. So even though it was annoying, I did expect them both to win. Yeah. And I expect us to win. And it should have been all three of us should have won. Yeah. Want to be made. So we now need to pull out a result. We still need to win our own games. But I think I was looking at it kind of going, we need to win all our own games. And if we can nick a point away, that'd be great. But win our own games. Now we've dropped points. We've got to go to Arsenal City and win one of them.
Whoa.
We've got to win one of them.
Maybe.
And I think I will beat Arsenal, I think.
Oh,
I do. Or there's another part of me going 1-0 penalty.
Can we just end on a positive and just end the show there? But look, we'll carry on the positive theme. So yeah, Bill Foley was there, and yeah, what a time it's been for AFC Bournemouth. And yeah. I sort of never thought that I could love our owner more than what I did with Maxim, because Maxim in Deming, he was a very invisible man. There's two very different types of ownership. He was very latent. You never saw him, but he put his money where his mouth is. He helped keep us in the Premier League for a long time by investing on the pitch. He got the foundations ready for what happens off it in terms of the training ground land and stuff. And then, Mr. Bill Foley comes along and, says a few things, and, the European 5 years thing. Yeah, whatever, Bill. Oh my God. Okay. That could happen. Maybe not this season. Who knows? But also investing in the stadium. They've dressed it up nicely. They've done what they need to do with hospitality to work out the numbers, which I get, of course.
Yeah.
And then this training ground. Oh my God, that happened quickly. And, we've seen it, mate. We've seen it. And my God, that looks good.
Oh, it's gorgeous, mate. And there was, I spoke to someone when we were down there that's been to a few different ones. There's a few obviously really nice ones around, especially in England in terms of the Premier League clubs. So this is up there, this is the bear, this is top. This is kind of one of them elite clubs would have this. So and maybe we're looking at all these decisions that are going for the elite clubs and thinking maybe if we act like an elite club, called. But no, it is gorgeous, isn't it, mate? It really is. And yeah, it's crazy. I remember just being there thinking, how is this the team? How is this Bournemouth?
It's weird, isn't it?
But yeah, it's amazing to see how far I've come. And like you said, with Bill in particular, mate, and all the kind of powers that be in terms of the ownership and the staff of the club, like they say things and they're just delivering. I was chatting to someone in the pub yesterday, and we were talking about, I don't know how they're going to do this with the stadium, and like we're all debating things, and then we all go, but I just let Bill do it. I trust him.
Yeah.
Because you just go, when he says he'd do something, he just does it. So I just go, yeah, right. I don't worry about stuff.
I've got no idea how they'll make money, because they've spent a lot of money. But hopefully Bill will be here for years to come and overseeing us in our 50,000 capacity arena or whatever. But look, we're making strides on the stadium, because when the Performance Centre was opened on Friday, I'm glad the weather was all right for that, by the way, because they did it in the car park by the looks of it. At the front, Mark McAdam was on the lectern delivering the news to everyone about what's happened. And then Bill turns up and says, oh yeah, by the way, just chucks it in there. By the way, lads, we've bought back the Vitality Stadium from Structerdine, who, if you've seen my video on the YouTube channel, that a fair few people have seen actually, by the way, 2005... in financial problems, we needed the money. We sold it to London-based company Structerdine for $3.5 million, which meant that we've been renting it ever since. So it's meant that we've only been able to do limited things with it. But now that it's back in our own ownership, I mean, that game against Man United, it was the 300th Premier League game. So that's another anniversary, but also 20 years since we actually played in a stadium that we own, and we now own it again.
Yeah,
and that lovely piece that Mike Botto read out, and there was a little montage on the screen as well. It sort of brought everyone together, and it's really nice, wasn't it?
Oh, it's really nice, mate. And yeah, like you say, literally, aside from the game, it's been one of them weeks, hasn't it? It's been really, really nice. And yeah, I cannot believe it's 20 years, by the way. When 2005, when I asked for it, 2005 to me wasn't 20 years ago, which doesn't make any sense. But to me, that's mental. But yeah, it's one of the things and you mentioned it earlier about how great Max was. This was just something that we've said it enough, haven't we? We just probably didn't have the funds.
Just take us to
that next bit. And this sort of stuff that's getting done with the training centre, and obviously now owning the stadium, is them little bits that we felt Max probably, to be fair to him, knew he couldn't quite get to.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is all exciting. And then you get the football on and you get annoyed again. Do you know what I mean? It's so annoying that I feel flat, because like you say, everything's so positive at the moment. But I know what football's like. We'll go and beat Arsenal. We'll go, hang on, because that is football.
Bill Foley, a billionaire. Maxim Deming, multi-millionaire. Sam Davis, about 10 quid in my bank account at the moment.
Oh yeah,
love it. Doing well. But no, I'll tell you what, he's promised a lot. He's promising with regards to the expansion of the South Stand, which will be a new 7 2.5k seater stand. It's 2.5 at the moment, but obviously,
Lovely.
I think they would be planning to build behind it and above it, and then do a just in the close season if they can. Maybe finish it off. I don't know the logistics of it. They can fill in some corners. They can put another deck on the top of the main stand.
Why is that such an American word?
I don't know.
On the upper deck.
Yeah,
I love
it. Tier.
Yeah.
So taking us to 23,000, which I'd be all right with. I'd be okay with that. I don't think they can do much with the north and east stands because it's close to housing. But with the other two stands,
mate. I don't like change. Just leave me alone.
With the other two stands, it should be good, and that will pave the way to more and more people watching the game, because obviously people are clamouring for tickets. More hospitality options. I'm not sure what they're doing because our hospitality percentage is about 6%. I think they'll maintain the same percentage. Naturally, the numbers will increase because the capacity increases.
I don't think I think the percentage will stay the same for a while. And I think there's potential for kind of a few season tickets to be offered out, apparently.
Do I get one? Because I quite like going.
You do like going stand to stand. It's whether you like the admin. Because you do get annoyed with the admin
and also I'd have to kind of work out how much difference price-wise it would be.
But I think it's more, I always say that to people. I go, it's more I
don't sit next to you for a whole season.
No, fair. I honestly, by the way, I've been in that seat for like decades, like so long. The same people are still around me. I think, how are they coping sitting near me? But they're there every time. Really weird. But
they love you.
Yeah, I think it's more I think a lot of people would say, there is obviously a bit of a difference, but not a lot in terms of price. Obviously you just pay it in more of a lump sum, but it's more the fact that I don't have to think about getting tickets.
Yeah.
Because I see you guys on the group having to do it, and it's
well.
And I know Rich has to do it like every Tuesday. Everyone's there, like, and I'm like, and then when there's a cup game or something, and I have to do it, I think, God, it's a nightmare. So then I realise what it's like, and that is, again, that's because of the fan base, how many we're growing now, but the fact that the stadium's not big.
You know what? Once I had a work meeting, because I don't do this full time, none of us do. I had a work meeting that I scheduled stupidly for just up the road in Poole, 10 o'clock on a Tuesday morning.
Poor from you.
And then I had to call the woman and say, "Can you make it 10:15?" Just to buy tickets, because I was nervous that at 11 I wouldn't be able to get one. Oh, that's how bad it is, because sometimes you go on, it's like, oh my God, everything's gone. So to have more, look, there are plenty of generations to come that want to watch Premier League football that can't at the moment. And you see these types at things like the development games. We went to one recently, and you're seeing faces that you haven't seen before. You chat to, parents and their kids who are like, we can't really get tickets to, the main games. Like one of the lads, Pete, who's a Cherries fan, who's a Moore bus driver. Shout out to Pete.
Oh yeah, Pete.
Who I found out was born on my birthday. Same age as me, born in the same hospital. Yeah. Like my mum and his mum, like probably know each other. Maybe we were swapped at birth.
Maybe, yeah. That'd explain a lot.
You know.
But yeah, there's people like, and I think we went to a little comedy gig thing, didn't we, the other night? And even there, and it's nothing to do with football. It wasn't even in Bournemouth. There's Bournemouth people in Bournemouth.
Yeah.
Like it's, nice. And I just always think back to when I was a kid. And obviously the reason I get a ball to my dad went, and he takes you, like a lot of people have. And I just think, imagine if I couldn't support you could support obviously who you want, but couldn't support my local team because I couldn't go.
Yeah.
It would be, I just can't, that just seems mad to me. So yeah, I do feel for them like kind of parents that want their kids to be able to go and they can't. I suppose the difference is when I was a kid, you couldn't bloody watch us on telly. Yeah. At least now you can win the Premier League and stuff. But yeah, it is wild really. I used to be able to be able to turn up and just walk in.
We're so procrastinating about talking about the football, aren't we?
Oh yeah,
I mean we will move on to it, but
we got to talk about the game
at some point. But it does remind me what you were talking about is when I was young, I went to the same primary school as you, of course.
Oh, you did,
and
can't believe it was still going like that.
During the summer holidays, they used to do this thing like Red Hill. You know where that old pavilion was on Red Hill Avenue?
Oh yes,
and
yes.
On the other side of the woods, they had a play scheme during the summer. So it was like 3 hours in the morning. So like my mum could go to work or whatever, half a day. I'd be there from 9 to 12. And you were right. There were so many different shirts.
Oh, always.
There was never a ball. And there was one lad there whose name was Chelsea. Like his actual name was Chelsea.
That's more of a female name.
Yeah, it is. His name was Chelsea. And do you know who he supported?
Very 2025 of them. Who do you support? Chelsea?
Chelsea, yeah, you're probably expecting some twist in that.
No, I wasn't actually.
But no, sadly, it was inevitable.
Do you reckon anyone, people will be able to guess our score from that little description, do you reckon?
Yeah,
I reckon they'll be able to guess it.
Put it in the
Put it in
comments.
the comments. But apparently I was like, God, we procrastinated.
Okay.
No, because I heard the other day, apparently it's gone downhill, that school. I thought it was a really good school.
Oh, well, we turned out all right.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, maybe it wasn't. Let's move on. Oh, no, do we have to talk about this game, Sam?
We have to. So, yeah, look, 12:45, you were having a sip on a J2O, I'm certain, and you would have seen the teams come out, Tom, and prediction-wise, how did it compare to what you said on the preview?
I wasn't quite there. It was obviously unchanged from the Palace game because we were obviously hopeful with Lewis Cook, weren't we? I think people forget he was actually on the bench against Palace as well.
So what was his issue?
I don't know. They said he's had an ongoing issue.
Okay.
So he's obviously, maybe at the moment, they're just thinking, well, we're moderating a bit, you know. And to be fair, obviously we'll come on to it. I actually think Scott's starting to do quite well.
Yeah,
what I will say is before he went off, which was just after the red card, I think, because I think whenever it goes off, you can see Lewis Cook about to come on.
Yes, you can.
And I think, so obviously there's context to that, but I didn't think for that whole 70 odd minutes with 11v11 that we looked any worse for not having Lewis Cook but having Scott. I thought Scott played well. So that was one. And then I just chucked in there that I felt that he might go Tav and have Dango as an option. Yeah. I'm actually now in hindsight really glad he didn't, because I thought Dango was one of his best performances.
Yeah,
I thought he was absolutely brilliant. So yeah, it was that really. For them, it was virtually impossible anyway, but I thought they might rotate a bit more. I was glad I got the call right, because people were saying, oh, I don't think he'll play Bruno. He did.
Yeah.
Bruno, Garnacho, Højlund got all that right. I think I got most of it right. I think it was Luke Shaw come in, which I didn't expect, and they went Casemiro, not Ugarte. But I think I was pretty much 9 or 10 on both. So yeah, not too bad from me, mate. And I quite like in our bench at the moment. I know we've potentially lost 7 now, but if you just look at that bench now, that looks a decent bench, doesn't it?
Yeah,
a bit more strength to it, which I like. Obviously, you want a few more, but I look at our bench and look at their bench and go, there's not much in that.
No,
not much in that at all. You'd probably maybe argue a Mason Mount. But yeah, apart from that, I was relatively happy with the team's mate. Couldn't really argue with it too much. And yeah, as much as they didn't rotate as I thought, I still felt we'll be absolutely fine there.
Yeah, and you know what? Beautiful day for football. It was absolutely glorious. Everyone was celebrating, giving the news, and then the game started. And I sensed that we started a lot better than they did, mate, because the ball seemed to be down my end. Yeah. So I was in the corner by the main and the Ted McDougall stand, and it seemed to be that we had a lot of the ball, not creating loads, but they maybe arguably had one of the first chances where I think Garnacho picked up the ball from just outside the area, and then he just got the ball
good effort,
past the post. He had a shot and probably had it covered, but maybe
it was just always bending. So I'm right behind obviously that goal, and even though it was a good strike, you could tell it was always going away from goal, so it was always going to be okay. But yeah, I think that sometimes I don't mind that when you start well, like we did, and then they have a tiny little moment like the Garnacho one. It kind of makes you go, hang on, they can hurt you. So it kind of keeps you aware. But it wasn't too long until we punished them. Yeah,
we did, and we were like Tyler Adams punished them as well with an attack on the right hand side, and then this flying challenge came in, mate, and I was right behind that. I thought that's not even a yellow, and I was 2 people away from Tommy Heffernan, cherry star of yesteryear, who would he did a lot more than that. A lot of people will know that, and he was saying no, it's nothing. Referee did give a yellow. If you look at it on the still, you can see that his left foot is planted on the ground. That's fine. His right foot makes contact with the ball first, but seems to be the momentum, the pace.
Yeah.
He just followed through a little bit.
Just followed through and gone actually didn't, I guess. But I didn't think there was. I definitely didn't think it was a record. I mean, like you said, mate, I thought in the moment that's not even a foul. But looking back, I can kind of appreciate why he's been given a yellow card there.
But Garnacho, mate, he is rolling. He rolled over 4 times. He was kicking the floor. He looked like he was about to pass away. That player, mate, I've said it before.
Horrible,
he's got the physicality of a 9-year-old girl or something, and. He's so infuriating. I can't stand him.
No, he is one of them. I know what you mean.
And I'm sorry to all 9-year-old girls that are watching.
Yes,
that's not a slight on you.
But he's horrible. He's just ratty and horrible, just like Bruno, really. But yeah, Garnacho was trying his best to get him sent off one day. But yeah, I think Tyler Adams was annoyed. I think things like that annoy me, is you kind of go, oh, we not got away with it, but thankfully he's only got a yellow there.
But VAR were looking at it, weren't they?
Of course they were. But what I know boys, that takes a lot out of Todd Adams for the rest of the game then. Because I keep watching this and go, actually, how the hell is that a yellow? What are we doing? What is football? Honestly.
Yeah.
But then the goal comes, mate. So, and I'll tell you what, who's not getting enough credit. I haven't seen enough credit online.
Adam Smith.
Mate, the guy's our oldest player at right back. What is he doing up there?
I was about to say that. Why is he up there?
Because he's obviously they play more of a wing back.
Okay, so the ball from Onana's been played out to Dorgu, left back.
And Dorgu is left wing back. So they've almost said to Smith, no, you're staying with him. So he's just ran. But that's massive for the press, mate. And Smith is not one of the ones you speak about when you talk about the press.
No.
And that is really good. And then to have the composure that he does pick out Ever, but Ever's touch, mate.
Yeah, well, I thought it came off the Man United defender, but Ever does get a definite touch. From one angle, it looks like Cliver's going to hit it, but Semenyo powers in. And tell you what, you wouldn't want many other players there, really, when you hit a shot and you want it to be hit on target with power, Semenyo's the man for it.
It's either in or it's over the stadium.
Yeah.
Even if you had a 7,500 stadium.
Because, I fear that if anyone else had maybe had a shot from there, it might have been too tame and the keeper would have had... It did take a slight touch, I think, off a United player. It did, ever so slightly, which may have put Onana off. I mean, I'm probably giving Onana a bit too much credit here because he's not the best of goalkeepers, but he did swing ferociously with his left boot, and my God, what a finish it was. And happy days, mate, 1-0 up. I mean, that is an example right there of the Areola press. It is working.
And it's also an example of, I don't understand teams like what Manchester United did here. There was no reason for Onana to just play out from the back like that. There was just no point.
Right, we're watching it again. Look, just see, it takes a slight touch there.
Nah, never saw it.
No?
Yeah, I did, but I never get that. They know what Bournemouth are like in the press. There was no reason for them to start knocking it about. I mean, we're on 38 minutes, mate, so I'm not doubt would have seen us. But there was no reason for them to start playing. They weren't going anywhere.
Yeah.
So I don't understand why they can't just dink it into do you know what I mean? Get away from their goal, but this is the way teams play now. But really glad we punished them, mate. And then I thought that we're fine now because they got to come out.
Well, I know for a fact that you did see this because we spoke about it after the game. Cool. And speaking of dinking the ball, Bruno Fernandes dinks nicely over from his own half, and
I know what it is.
Wow, finds Garnacho, and Zabani almost fell asleep. I think there must have been a miscommunication between Zabs and Kepa, because I think maybe he heard something or thought that Kepa was going to come. He didn't, and then Garnacho was basically one-on-one, tried to lift it over Kepa, but thankfully Kepa on his tiptoes, right hand up in the sky, managed to put it wide. But
that's a well-class save, wasn't it? It was, and Zaba's just got... I don't know why he just leaves it, but I'm pretty sure I remember seeing him point to his ear. So you might be right, as if to say, I thought I heard, to kind of not go for it. I don't know. But that is an unbelievable touch, by the way. In real time, when I was watching it, I was like, even if he gets touched, that's going to go in the bottom corner.
But do you think the fans in the North Stand are shouting, keep his ball, and Zabani thinks he said Kepa's ball or something like that? I don't know.
Don't give us that much
digging him out.
Don't try and say it was my fault. But it was unlike Zaba, but I thought all game, just while we're on it, with Kepa, obviously that was the main save, and there wasn't loads of saves he had to make, but I thought in general, just the way he was, it was like, we've got an elite goalkeeper. There was just moments just where he plays it out, and there was a few where he just catches it, and even his gaze was shit when he's trying to wind down the clock. Everything about him just makes you think we've got a proper goalkeeper. Yeah. And I'm really pleased because obviously it wasn't long ago when we had a bit of a real dip, and he made a few little errors, gave away some penalties and stuff, and you're going, oh God, but I think it's just one of them things that you remember everyone has a little bit of a blip in the season. I think apart from them few games, I think he's been pretty good, mate. And I do love having him in goal because I just feel so calm. You know what I really like about Kepa? Go on.
This is something non-football.
Good, I don't know football.
You watch YouTube a fair bit, don't you?
Yeah.
Have you seen that video of some bloke that's standing outside the stadium when the players were training there?
Oh, yes.
And filming all the cars as they enter.
Yeah.
And there's loads of them that are coming in. He blanks out most of their number plates, not all. He does call Soler Kirkes or Kirkes Soler or something like that. But either way, he was there putting the brand of car that they've had and how much it costs. And it seemed that Kepa most players drove past, looked at this bloke filming and be like, well, what are you doing?
Yeah.
But Kepa gave him a right look.
Yeah, he did.
And then clearly stopped and chatted to the guy like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And then he carried on.
Yeah, I
love that from him.
Yeah,
a bit of attitude. We need a bit of
of leadership there. Bit of leadership. What are you doing, my boys? Do you know what I mean? They're here to train. But yeah, this was another one, by the way. We're just obviously
in the second half now.
Just to give it context that the ref was rubbish for both teams at some points.
Okay, go on.
How did Dorgu get booked for that?
So yeah, there's a challenge from Dorgu on Adam Smith in the right hand corner. So this would have been right in front of you. This was on 57 minutes, the precursor to a certain Dango Ouattara putting in a cross. Oh no, having a shot. Did you ever think he was going to shoot from there? But yeah, sorry, let's talk about the ref. You said inconsistent?
Oh, just a bit, mate. Honestly, watch this back. That is never a yellow card for Dorgu. Look at this tackle from Dorgu. Obviously, goes in with Smithy. It's perfect. Yeah. Smith kicks him. Right, they should have a free kick. But Smith, I love Smithy. I love how we've gone about Golacho. Rat. Smithy does it. I love him. Yeah. But yeah, Dango's free kick.
It's a bar. Well, no, it's like the top of the post, almost the angle, and then Zabs with the follow up just wide. But that was a hell of a chance.
There's no way we've ever said Dango nearly scores and then Zabani nearly scores at the same time. But yeah, really clever as well. So I don't think anyone was thinking he was going to do it. But he done it really well. But yeah, everyone was kind of looking at each other in amazement in the North Stand. But if it deserved to go in, it was the game Dango was. I do wonder with that sometimes. Like you said, I don't. Never thought Dango was going to try that. You know when a player's having a good game? Just think he was having a really good game, Dango, and sometimes it makes you have that little bit more confidence to try something. And to be fair, when we've seen his penalties, he does try stuff.
I think he's this season especially. I mean, he's really blossomed as a footballer. He's and he's shown his versatility, and he's shown that. We were wondering, my God, is he value for money? Is he showing what he's worth here? But I think he really is, and going above and beyond now. So he's becoming more and more reliable each and every week. So, and not necessarily like having to tag him with the impact thing now as much, really, which is
no. And I have been thinking of late with Tav back, and obviously we've got Brooks as well. We haven't seen for a bit, which is a shame. But we've got a few options. Obviously, bar Cine really in terms of width. I do always. It's not his fault. I just think I love it when Dango comes on and we need something because he's so quick, he's so unpredictable. Because he is still very, very raw and he's still young. But I like him as an impact. But
and more so because when Tav's come on recently, he's not been effective.
Him and Brooks always seem to be better when they start. Yeah. And I've always felt and still do that Dango's better as an impact sub. But what I will say of Dango is he's at the moment Tav's back, but I don't think it's a fitness thing anymore. I think he's going. I can't drop Dango because I think he's been really, really good lately. And again, I thought that was one of his best performances. I really did. So I'm really pleased for him because I think he is still infuriating at times. He's very unpredictable, but forget how young he is. There's definitely a bloody player there. And I think, things like, hopefully it won't, but if ever is out 3 games, we're bloody lucky that someone like Dango has proven he can do a job up top if we need him to. So really important to have them sort of players. So yeah, I was pleased for him because I've definitely been one that's got really frustrated with Dango. More last season, I'd say, but really pleased that he's showing up and being a bit more consistent now.
Man United made a triple substitution after that. So Harry Maguire, Casemiro and Mainu made way for Lindelof, Ugarte and Mount respectively. It was about 4 or 5 minutes after that a fateful moment happened in front of everyone in the main stand where Evan Nilsson makes a challenge and... Is it one-footed? Is it two-footed? Is it a slip? Is it not? The referee saw it and he awarded a yellow card, which was probably about right.
Yeah, I'd say so. I think even a yellow is probably quite harsh, but I would understand why a yellow's been given there. I mean, Ever has clearly slipped. Anyone that's ever played football, or you don't even need to have played football too much. Anyone can see that he slipped.
And that's what they said on Match of the Day. I think Mark Chapman made a pub reference, you can play pub football and realise that that's a slip.
It's so obviously a slip. And I think, it's so obviously a slip, mate. And
so maybe a yellow at best?
Because it's, even though he slipped, if you still,
he clatters him.
Yeah, he still goes into too much. So I'd kind of go, I know you slipped there, but you have caught him as a yellow card. And the ref, on this occasion, done it perfectly.
However,
for some reason, this clear and obvious bar that's been set, I don't know what bar it is anymore because there's no one in the world that says that's a clear and obvious error. No. So whatever they say about clear and obvious now is irrelevant because they've just proven they don't do that. Yep. Because that's a load of rubbish. You've got people watching on screen somewhere that, for whatever reason, have told him to look at it. For what? I honestly don't know. I honestly don't know. And we said at the start of the show, mate, but we've obviously appealed it. If we win the appeal, then all that means is a bloke's given a yellow, then other people have gone, actually, it's a red, then other people have gone, no, it's actually a yellow. I mean, it's a circus.
Yeah, they can't win.
No, they can't now.
They can't win, whatever they do, even if they downgrade it to 1 game or whatever, they simply cannot win. But there is another incident that's almost identical, isn't it? With Bruno Fernandes, ironically, going in on Maddison for Spurs in a match that where he slips.
Clearly slips.
And he makes contact with 1 foot. Now, one thing I can say about the angle that the ref saw the first time, it makes it look like it's a 2-foot contact. It's not. His right foot is actually elevated in the air, but doesn't actually make contact with the player. So, in my mind, it's absolutely identical. Therefore, if Bruno Fernandes had his reversed,
Yeah, he did, yeah.
surely that's going to be the case this time, and we can play ever against Arsenal on Saturday.
I mean, like you said, mate, whatever they do now is still laughable, but yeah, we've got to win that appeal. We've got to win that. How can you not win that? He's slipped. I mean, it's crazy. And this is what I said. I don't believe in like conspiracies and all that, but this is why I can't. I spoke at the top of the show and we said about that when that penalty, it was Lewis Cook won it against Liverpool, and I could kind of see what he was given. I thought it was harsh, but he kind of looked like he might have clipped him. Do you remember?
Yeah.
But my point always is not whether it's a penalty or not. It's not the rules of the game. I go, do we get that at Anfield? You know we don't. So if that was the other way around, who is it? Is it Mazraoui, by the way, the Man United player? I think it was Mazraoui. If Mazraoui does that on Ever, that is not getting reviewed and being given as a red card. It's not. I don't care what anyone says. That is not a red card for Man U. And I think the way Andoni speaks sometimes when he gets frustrated afterwards about decisions, he speaks like that. Kind of the way he talks is kind of like, this happened to us all season. Like I don't know what we can do anymore. Did he get booked, by the way?
I think someone
got there. Probably Latour.
He said look, that anyone who's played football will know that's not a red card.
Yeah.
So what he's saying there, that there seems to be some kind of division in maybe knowledge, because it seems that you look at social media after that incident, you look at Facebook, you look through Twitter, there's broadcasters, there's journalists, there's ex-pundits, ex-pundits, there's players, there's all sorts, all of whom are saying the same thing. So either we're all wrong and the people who make the laws of the game are right. I mean, you can look through the laws of the game and you can interpret it however you want, to be honest, when you look at that, because it's so hard to kind of tell when reading through. I think one of our members posted it on Telegram and I was still sort of none the wiser really as to it. So either
I don't know the rules.
We're all wrong. So maybe we just need to come to an agreement and kind of like, I think the media now need to kind of relearn the rules. Fans need to relearn the rules. Maybe is that what it is? Or in this instance, is it a fact that they are wrong? We're still not sure.
I think it's so up in the air, man. I think you can literally, and this is nothing on the officials, by the way. This is more, how much it gets changed and how unknown we all are. I reckon you could get all like, so I don't know, the Premier League refs and get them to do like you do with like when you pass a driving test, you do a theory, Get them to do a theory on the laws of the game. I bet none of them get 100%.
Yeah.
No way, because why should they? They're like, how do they know? Because no one knows what's going on anymore. There's a big time when you talk about handball. I still don't know what handball and what isn't, and it's different if it's a defender or it's an attack. I ain't got a clue what's going on. But yeah, all this technology that was brought in to help. Can you remember one game week this season where there wasn't a ridiculous decision?
Well, that's the thing, we're talking about it.
It's everything,
which is,
and this is what apparently was brought in to eradicate that. They're just getting involved. It's just, honestly, it is a circus, mate. And I just thought one then, I might be wrong, so I don't know if you saw it or if anyone kind of knows the rules, so I ain't got a clue. But you know the tackle from Tyler Adams that we were talking about?
Yeah.
Garnacho gets treatment, and obviously he doesn't go off the pitch.
Okay.
They for that free kick. Garnacho doesn't have to go off the pitch. Right. But I thought if you get treated, you have to go off the pitch. And there's a few people saying that to me, going, like, did you see the Garnacho? Why didn't Garnacho? Because they always have to go off, don't they?
It does, mate.
And they had a free kick and he was allowed to stay on. So I don't know if that's a new rule for if you're a Big Six club, even though, if you're a Big Six club, but kind of 15th or whatever they are. But is there a new rule? I don't know.
The inconsistencies are just wild. And that's one thing that, fans are looking for. And when...
Oh, no, they're consistently useless.
Yeah. Two, it's smack. And you know what? It's brilliant if we get Ever back. It's brilliant, but it doesn't help us retrieve the lost points from that Man United game, does it? It doesn't help us. And having him, I swear, we don't know. It's all hypothetical. Of course it is. However, I'm telling you now that we didn't have an outball after that moment, and that's what Andy Jennings said, I think, very eloquently on the fan cams. He said, Crystal Palace, when they were down to 10 men, they thrived relatively well because they had an outball, sometimes two, he said, whereas we didn't have any. There were sometimes the ball was going up the pitch and it was just coming straight back at us. It was almost like we're inviting on, and you check out the stats, like the XG and stuff. I mean, they completely dominated us. I think they got over 2. Ours was under 1.
Yeah, I would like to think that was more, because I totally agree with what you're saying there about what Andy said as well. I'd like to think it's more the context of the game, that we didn't have an outball because we didn't almost try to have an outball, because we were literally like, let's just hang on, we're 1-0 up. Whereas in the Palace game, they thought, well, the game is still level.
Yeah.
Could we go and nick something? We were winning, so I do wonder if that, like, if this was happening at 0-0, I do wonder if we'd have still tried something with an out ball. Because he could have brought Jebbo on before. He didn't bring Jebbo on until like the last minute, did he?
Yeah, I mean, he brought Senesi on, which indicated that, and that's not usually what Areola does, at all, not whatsoever. No. But he did it on this occasion. And I tell you what, though, I've got to say, up until that 93rd minute, my God, we were making some unbelievable blocks.
Oh, Senesi as well, by the way.
Yeah, Senesi, Dango, Justin. I saw so many players putting their bodies on the line. Yeah. There were a few moments that were heart in mouth, of course, where, Bruno Fernandes brushed the outside of the side netting. I genuinely thought it was in. And like you say, that shot that, Senesi managed to deflect wide. There were a number of moments like that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, though, for us, it did all come undone later on in the game, and mate, we were hanging on, and the ball was like pinging around our penalty area, and we're watching it now just in front of us. It's on the left hand side. Ball played in, shot comes in, and it's almost deflected into the net by Højlund to make it 1-1. Cue scenes, elation. I didn't know whether they'd won the Champions League or what, but they scraped a point at little old Bournemouth. And
I thought it was good. Obviously, you can see it, obviously where I am, quite a way away, and the other side. I thought we might be. I reckon he looked like he was ahead of everyone. So I thought he could be off it, but obviously
they didn't draw the lines or anything, did they?
No, he was. I think looking at it back, obviously, he is onside. But yeah,
he does shift his body back just before making contact.
Yeah, he was probably quite good. Because I honestly, we're talking about Man U. He's awful, Højlund, isn't he?
Yeah,
he played up front all game.
He's not a good footballer.
If someone didn't deserve to get the bloody goal at the end, he is rubbish. And also, how many times is Luke Shaw still on the pitch for that long? He's always injured. Yeah. He has to be on for this game. And annoyingly, he played all right for Scummer. But I did enjoy some different chant. We obviously had the Scummer chant for Luke Shaw, obviously.
You're going to say one that I really liked as well.
The Maguire one.
Oh, no.
You're just a Tommy Elphick, quite like that.
Oh, yeah.
Shit, Tommy Elphick. We had the...
Bruno Fernandes?
Yeah, you look like a rat. Which I thought that was good.
He actually
does a little bit, yeah.
He does.
But you don't need to, just because you look like something, you don't have to be the personality of it as well. But no, that was good. And then they tried to give us a bit of banter by saying, no, you've seen United no F off home, which was really weird. But they didn't go quickly because I went after done fan cams, obviously went to just have a refreshment after the game and walked past, and there's, I thought, why are those people here? Because the away team bus was there, just Man U fans everywhere. You go, and I was obviously a little bit annoyed at the time. Was shouting to them. You literally see them every week at home, don't you?
Yeah.
Like, why are you? And but none of them, I'd ever watch them probably. But I think they only had a short walk home anyway. None of them live in Manchester, do they? So don't worry about it.
So look, I just want to give you a heads up. If you've seen our match day vlog, you'll probably realise it's a little bit different because I don't know if I've said this before yet, but I was in hospitality for that. So me and Lucy were there, and she came on camera, by the way, in the vlog.
No invite? Did she?
Yeah, she came on camera and said a few words. Can believe it.
She told you to cut it yet? She told you to get rid of that?
It's still in. It's still in. So it's still
nice to get invited to the hospitality night, by the way.
Yeah, that's right. I had some potato gratin and crispy hen's egg thing, and she had some cod thing, and nice dessert and stuff. Yeah, that was really lovely.
Who was did they have the man of the match afterwards still?
Semenyo.
It was Semenyo.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
You haven't watched the vlog?
It was, no, I haven't.
Clearly mentioned,
there was who was it? It might have been Dan and Clem, actually, that were also in hospitality that I know. And before the game, I saw them. And I said, yeah, I think you normally get the man of the match. They go, every time I've been in hospitality, it's always Semenyo. I just want someone different.
Yeah.
And I went, well, there's not the chance it's going to be Semenyo again. Yeah. But it was, so that's funny. But so did he get man of the match? Sorry, I genuinely couldn't remember who got man of the match in the game.
Oh,
was it Semenyo then?
Oh, I don't know.
Because normally the man of the match comes up, don't
Let us know in the comments.
Yeah, because
I don't know that.
For me, it was between, well, we're talking about...
I was fuming. In the thumbnail for the vlog, I wasn't sure whether I photoshopped that smoke coming out my ears in that video or whether it was there. But the video was a bit different because it was with Comav, and obviously they've got a relationship with the club, and therefore restrictions on kind of what can be filmed and what can't. And I didn't put in everything given it was a sort of collaboration with us and Comav. But my God, mate, if anyone saw the raw footage of when Manchester United equalised, they would be disgusted because there were visibly people in the south stand and jumping on their feet, visibly. There were you expect it in hospitality because you know there's going to be. What you don't expect in hospitality is people sitting in those seats saying you've seen United now F off home from literally a few rows away from you, from a guy that lives in Poole anyway.
Yeah.
That to me, I didn't like that. But I mean, I suppose that shows how low, like whereabouts they are. They're in a very low moment.
They are, but and equally
taking solace from that,
of course. But taking my bitterness aside, I think you should be celebrating a last-minute goal, whatever state you're in.
Not against Bournemouth.
No,
you're not allowed to. Why Arsenal did it? That's our most popular video, by the way. That 160,000 one when they beat Bournemouth on their own patch.
But it's a last-minute goal, so I appreciate them all. Obviously enjoying it. But I think it's a really difficult one. I'm with you on the hospitality thing. You're going to get a few. Yeah, it is what it is.
I chat to one who's next to me. Lovely.
You're going to get that. That's absolutely fine. I know Bournemouth fans that do hospitality and away games. But the fact they're just popping up at every stand's not right, is in. Something needs to be done about that. But what can the club do if someone, say me, obviously I'm always there, but I'm a season ticket holder. But if I wanted to go, you know what, I know a guy who supports Man U, I'm ill or something, just give him my season ticket, can I? The club don't do anything about it.
Yeah.
So it's frustrating, but it is annoying, and I felt annoyed at myself, Sam. I felt annoyed at myself because you know what I'm like.
Yeah.
I always stay there, clap the players. Oh, I couldn't. I was that angry with everything. Yeah, and I felt not that I don't think the players were there going, "Where is he?" But I like doing that because I even more so wanted to kind of be like, singing it over and going, done us proud again, boys.
Yeah, you were at fan cams as soon as they came out.
Yeah, when that goal went in and I saw a few Man U fans in the home end standing up, I just had to go. I was so angry with it all. So yeah, I was annoyed at myself afterwards, but just when you just think, I don't want to say something stupid to one of these Man U fans. So I just walked off and thought, well, I knew there wasn't long left anyway, obviously. But just one of them games, mate, like we spoke about all the way through, that it just really got to me, that one, because I just think that was massive. And if we hung on, and I think it's a psychological thing as well. You'll know what I'm saying. So we're 1-0 up, obviously, in the game. We go down to 10 men on unrightly. I was going to say that bad, wrongly. Unjust.
Unjustly.
Whatever. We're doing really well. Like you said, blocks are coming in. It's it's on the telly. Everything's, and you think if we see that out, not only is that 3 points, I think the players then, chests out, big atmosphere in there, and everyone's going, I'll tell you what, we can do this. There's a few games to go. We're in the driving seat. This is on. It's our time. And the fact they score, that literally, turns everything.
It's
then
deflated us, isn't it?
Yeah, because now it's not happening, is it? Kind of feeling, and it's all on that little moment at the end.
But then 1 week of football and it can change again. So we're hopeful, but it's maybe unlikely. Hey, I know it was a day of anniversaries yesterday. It was a day of an anniversary of a certain someone that proudly says, "I don't watch podcasts." Keith Brewer.
Oh yeah.
So look, he won't be watching this.
Oh yes, don't watch it. So we want that.
He don't watch it. Yeah, but
normally I quite like him though.
I do like, and I did pop up. Yeah, because I was in hospitality, so
you're not Sunday?
Yeah, I popped up and I shook his hand and said, "Look, happy birthday. Is it 21?" He's like, "No, it's 22." But happy birthday,
hospitality bands.
Hospitality. Can someone clip this up and then post it to him on Twitter? Because he went under the radar a bit yesterday. He did, he did his usual tweets. He said, come on, Boscombe at the end of it, like he always does.
Yeah.
Didn't mention his birthday. He did have the balloons. And a few people did say happy birthday, but he don't make a meal of it. He doesn't.
No, but to be fair, you don't like your birthday,
no,
do you?
Under the radar. Absolutely, mate.
It's quite easy to remember yours, so it's not hard.
Yeah, don't tell people.
I will.
Do not tell me.
Yeah, no. I hope you had a good day, despite that annoyance. Because actually, you're right, because Keith's very good at staying level. Very good at staying level.
Very level-headed.
And you could tell that we were robbed. I think he said we were robbed. And you think, if Keith's saying it, you know what I mean? Because he's a very level guy. So yeah, says it all. But
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I'm glad you had a nice time in hospitality anyway, mate.
Yeah, enjoyed it.
What's your record like? I think you're unbeaten in hospitality.
No.
Are you not? Because we went, weirdly, with Man U at home. Last season we drew.
With Jeff.
Robbed again. We went Swansea, Parker
4-0,
4-0 win. What else have you been?
I've done 2 Ipswich games. Back in the Championship in 2013.
Who goes Ipswich bag at hospitality?
Yeah.
Ipswich?
One of my mates, Ipswich fans. So yeah, we went on a family thing. Not my family, his. And also Watford at home when Ramsdale was sat in the North Stand. We lost 3-0.
We're 3-0 down at half time, aren't we?
2-0 down. We were 2-0 down, and then I went down to the fan cam, started him saying, all right, then 2-0. He said 3. Like, what? They just scored as I was walking out. So,
I do remember that game, annoyingly. But,
but other than that,
yeah,
it's too bad. In the Premier League, it's unbeaten league. So, yeah. But I must admit, mate, as brilliant as it is, I'd rather been sat in the North Stand chatting to you after.
Would you?
Yeah.
Would you rather be what? You would rather have been with me when that goal went in?
maybe not.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because no one else wanted to be with me. But yeah, like I say, we've rambled, mate. But I don't know. You seem all right. You don't seem too bad as well. You know, there's been certain games lately where I've been fine, kind of thing. I've kind of been like, oh, it's annoying, but there's loads of games left. And you've been a bit like, oh, that was such a good job. Like, say the Ipswich game, for example. I think you don't seem quite as. Whereas I feel so done after that.
But Tom, you know why? You know why I'm not.
Football never ends.
Doesn't matter.
Football doesn't matter, does it?
Yeah, because after this season, right? I know that Liverpool have won the league, yeah, but they haven't won the football because it carries on next season. It carries on, and if we don't qualify for Europe this season, there's always the next. If we don't do the next, there's the next and the next. As long as it keeps getting better, it can't go worse, because otherwise that's when people need to be sacked and go. Just keep it going.
Yeah, we don't get. Yeah, it's understandable why no one gets irate about football, because it never ends, and you can't win the football.
And not every. It's mad. It's mad to say this. As basic as it is, not every team can be good at once.
Yeah, that's impossible.
So,
isn't it, really?
some people will always have shit seasons. This season, it's Man United.
Yeah.
Next season, it could be, I don't know, Manchester City when they're struggling from League Two. Who knows?
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, but we could just go, but you can go even deeper. Like, why is anyone watching this? What's the point?
Yeah,
we'll do another one.
What's the point? We'll be dead in 100 years.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Or less.
Well, you but like the video and all that, but like, why?
Yeah, so can you do that? Like
yeah, subscribe.
Also, subscribe.
Yeah, click the bell and stuff. I don't know why though. What's the point?
No, it doesn't matter.
Are we still talking, or are we ending the video? Because I haven't even said like man of the match or anything. I was going to say Kappa.
Yeah.
For me, but I want to make a big shout out to Dango.
Yeah.
Because I thought he was brilliant. Who would you have gone with? Similar?
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter, it's true. Yeah.
Oh, the Cherries.
Nothing matters, does it?
It doesn't matter.
Oh, why is it? Why am I looking at Then I
qualify for Europe.
Then I go straight on Twitter and go, what's going on in the football? Why do I care? Oh, is that? Pleased to announce that Black Knight Football Club has entered into a new strategic affiliation agreement with MLS side Orlando City.
Up the Bill Foley.
Oh, up the Vegas Cherries. Oh, it doesn't matter anyway, does it?